It's finally Friday. It's Friday, Friday.
Thank God it's
All right, welcome back to the Friday Show, presented this week by Editorial, a Climax Stallion. I'm Scott Jagow, along with Ray Paulick. We're glad to have you with us. Ray, it seems like just about every week we get an email or a call from a horse player complaining about a DQ or a non-DQ or some steward's ruling that was the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of mankind. We got another one of those this week. We figured we'd broaden it out to talk about this issue of consistency and the rules as they exist or should be changed possibly vis-a-vis the way things are done in other countries. So let's begin by watching the race in question.
Morning Buzz, get off my back. Nothing between them as they come down for the finish. Morning Buzz, get off my back. Morning Buzz by a head.
Right, so this is the fifth race at Aqueduct last Sunday. And the horse on the outside comes in a couple of paths. There's a little bumping that goes on. The rider of the inside horse doesn't really have to stop riding at all. And the horse on the outside won by a neck and was disqualified.
To me, there isn't a whole lot there. I can see why the horse player who wrote in was upset with the fact that the horse on the outside was disqualified. The horse came over, yes, that's true. But if you watch what happened with the other horse, he appeared to stay in a straight line. So I wouldn't have taken him down. But we need some comparison here. So there was a case from a year ago in Pennsylvania at Parks that is actually, believe it or not, going through the court system right now, this case. Now let's watch that one compared to what we just saw.
SS Minnow the inside. On the outside, Big Saver. They'll decide it here in the last couple of yards. Big Saver, SS Minnow. It's another head bob.
All right, we got the same situation. The horse is on the outside. This one comes in several paths. And, there's bumping. In fact, the rider on the inside horse almost comes off. And the margin of the race is a nose with the outside horse winning. And there is no disqualification in this race.
Well, as I said, this is working its way actually through the court system. The commission turned it over to an administrative law judge who looked up the rules and saw that there is a rule that says no horse or jockey shall willfully jostle another horse. Now, to me, this is patently absurd because how do you know what the horse was thinking? So we're going to bring in Dr. Doolittle here and ask the horse questions like, were you doing this on purpose? And is the jockey going to admit, yeah, I was doing it on purpose? I mean, that whole word willfully being in there completely clouds the picture and is absurd. But this law judge said that horse racing is a contact sport and that these things happen, which completely flies in the face of the other call. The other call, was much less egregious than this, and they DQ'd that horse, but not this one.
And here's the problem that I have with it. If you're a horse player sitting at an OTB in New Mexico or Florida, a dog track in Florida, or watching at home on your computer or TVG, you want the rules to be the same. You want them to be adjudicated the same way at Aqueduct as they are at Parks or at Santa Anita. And they're not. They are not. If you go and you look at the different regulations that are applied to disqualifications, it is absurd how different they are. In some states, a foul is a foul. In some states, a foul is a foul only if in the view of the stewards, the foul cost another horse a placing. In some states, the stewards shall disqualify. In some states, they may disqualify. It is crazy how different the rules are in all these different states. I don't know how it's going to be resolved, but horse players are not happy, and they need to. We need to think of the horse players when we develop the rules, and just make them simple, and make them consistent.
Yeah. And it's not just the horse players, it's also the owners and the trainers who are being penalized under the current system for what the jockey does. So if a jockey does it on purpose or accidentally, the horse is getting taken down and placed behind a horse that is clearly inferior on that day because of something the jockey does. To me, that's the wrong way to do it. I understand the need for deterrence, but I think it should be done, the next day in the steward's room, where you stiffen the penalties for careless riding, so you don't get 3 days, you get 2 weeks. And we'll see how many jockeys keep doing egregious things. But we want to talk about this even in broader perspective, because international observers have commented on this. They specifically were talking about one case, the 2015 Beverly D Stakes. This is a perfect example of the international acrimony about the stewards in different countries. So in this case, Secret Gesture was clearly the best horse in the race, but she did come over on Stephanie's Kitten at the end there. The stewards decided to bump Secret Gesture down behind Stephanie's Kitten, and there was kind of an international outcry, like, how can you do this? The best horse still won the race. And that is the standard in most countries around the world.
Yeah, there's something called Category 1 countries, and that's most of Europe, Dubai, Asia, and they look at possible interference as, did it cost the best horse a win in the race? And if the answer is, if it didn't cost another horse a win, there's no disqualification. Category 2 countries, of which the United States and Canada and a lot of, I think, South America too, looks at it as, did it cost anybody? Did the interference cost anybody a placing in the race? And there seems to be a growing movement toward Category 1 countries, but maybe because in the United States we have so many wagers that involve who finished second, third, and fourth, the exactas, trifectas, and superfectas, we have to adjudicate that. But it just seems, as you said earlier, so unfair to the owners, to the trainers, and to the horse players especially.
And in this case, Irad Ortiz was aboard Stephanie's Kitten. He clearly is doing a soccer flop there to make sure that the stewards saw, hey, I'm being interfered with. He pulls up. That's what cost him an opportunity for a better placing, not the interference. It was his action where he oversold it and lost second place. The stewards clearly didn't take that into account. I thought it was a poor job of their decision making there. There's another case I've shown before with You Be the Judge, where a horse was 10 lengths winner, but gets taken down behind a horse that finished 14 lengths behind because of some, questionable interference at the top of the stretch. All it leads back to is we have 37 different rules and no one is happy.
In the United States racing, we have an organization for everything. There's an organization called the Racing Officials Accreditation Program. They're trying to get the rules the same, but trying to get 37 state racing commissions to adopt rules is so difficult. And we've talked about this many, many times on medication. We need something national. For God's sake, can we please get national rules on what is a disqualification? The horse players demand it. The owners deserve it. We really need to try to get there.
What do you think? We have a poll about this subject. What should the standard be? Should it be a foul is a foul is a foul? Should it be any placing, the opportunity for it if that's what has happened? Or should it be, did the best horse win the race? Let us know. Take the poll at our website, paulickreport.com. That's going to do it for this edition of the Friday Show, presented by Editorial, a Climax stallion. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Climax Stallions introduces Editorial, a half-brother to Eclipse Award winner Uncle Mo.
This is an overwhelming performance by Uncle Mo.
Editorial was a tenacious winner of his second start.
Editorial's gaining, wires coming, gonna be close. Editorial gets up.
And now stands his first season for just $3,500. For information, contact Sean Feld at 859-519-9665 or email climaxstallions@yahoo.com.